That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure this was working. All right, Charlie, how you doing, buddy? It's good to see you. I need to check to see if this mic is working correctly. Hopefully so. All right, everyone's pulling in. This is great. Good to see everybody this morning. All right, so it is, hey, Fire Captain 202. Well, good morning to you too, buddy. Right on. Everyone's coming in. Lifestyle, what is that? Lifestyle Reset Coaching. Welcome. I hope everyone can hear me okay. Audio is great. Well, that's always good, Fire Captain. You know, Fire Captain, you're new to this show, so I should explain to you that I have no idea what I'm doing. This has been an experiment since COVID hit as a way to keep my sanity during COVID, but it's turned into much more than that. So as I was putting this together, trying to fumble my way through of going live every morning and what I was going to talk about and what was going on, the COVID situation, you know, as we all realized, it has gone on a lot longer than a lot of us anticipated. So at the beginning of this, I figured that I would just go live every morning as a way to keep my sanity, discuss what was going on, and an opportunity to reach out to our listeners and followers and have a conversation, a way to connect, because I lived in Hollywood by myself in a studio apartment, and it got quite lonely. So I decided to go live, fudge my way through it, and figure it all out. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Fire Captain. Fire Captain says he finds my insight very useful. Well, good. That was certainly part of the plan. But then as COVID wore on, civil strife had reared its head, Hollywood turned into quite a mess. The election cycle has continued to degrade into a garbage pit of insanity, hoaxes, fear-mongering, disinformation rather than information. And what had turned out as an opportunity, as a way to keep my sanity, has not only been, it has turned into a lifeline as I try to keep my sanity and navigate my way through all of the horrendous stuff that is going on due to this. Now, part of all of this, and Fire Captain, to fill you in, and for those of you who don't know, I have moved out of that studio apartment in Hollywood, and I'm now here in Las Vegas as I feel that Hollywood has got some growing up to do if I was going to return. But regardless of all that, everything is quite well and happy and hunky-dory here in Vegas. But, you know, today I woke up and I was excited to do the show because I love talking to you guys and working my way through this. And, well, let me just go on to this part of Twitter, right? So if you guys follow The Art of Charm on Twitter, I'm usually talking about stuff on there. Now, I'm looking at the trending topics on Twitter, and we all know that Twitter is a informational garbage dump of disinformation, misinformation, hoaxes, screaming, toddlers throwing tantrums, cancel culture, ideological battles, name calling, threats, mob rule and justice. And you might ask yourself, well, John, if Twitter is nothing except what you've had to say about it, why do you waste your time over there? Well, good question. Well, despite all of that, there is a silo of Twitter called money Twitter, or we call it self-development Twitter, which is really fun. And there is a lot of great people. There's a lot of fitness people there. There's a lot of finance people there. There's a lot of self-development people there. And we have a lot of fun. And our little silo is pretty cool. There's no one arguing. There's no shouting. There's no ideological battles. We reach out to other silos to throw our 2 cents in. But self-development Twitter is just that. People who despite the chaos that is happening around them, are able to focus on themselves. COVID hoaxes trending. There's so many hoaxes trending, JM. And now, my whole thing is just filled with why Trump's a jerk. And it's just like, if you go through each one, you will realize that the claims that are being made most of them are stretches. There is not really much corroboration in any evidence to back up a lot of this stuff. And then by the time you've figured it out for yourself, you've just wasted an hour on one hoax of triangulating different reports and scamdemic. Yeah, absolutely. And it's why do I want to waste my time going through all this garbage? So yesterday, I had realized over the Pelosi Hairgate that I was starting to get a little bit too emotionally involved, which, as we've talked about it, if your emotions are being tugged, then you're susceptible to some of that marketing. Now, it's like a jilted, is it jilted or guilted, lover who will say and do anything to get your attention, to push, to try to find the buttons that will get you to react. And notice that both sides are trying to play this game. JM's laughing and Harrogate. Yeah, that's what they were calling it. Now, I mentioned that my own mother was a hairdresser, and a lot of my friends have salons or are in that field, whether they're marketing or selling or actually doing cuts. So, yeah, I'm emotionally invested. They found a button and they pushed it. My point being in all this is that even myself, understanding and knowing marketing, political marketing, emotional triggers, optics, it doesn't, as I've said, it doesn't make me impervious to it. It doesn't make me immune to it. It only gives me an understanding of it so that when I am being emotionally tugged and pulled and pushed around, that I can at least be conscious of it and choose to opt out when I know that I'm getting wound up. Just like when you get pushed around by a scorned lover who's looking for buttons, who's trying to upset you, that you realize, oh, this is what they're doing. They're trying to get my goat. They're trying to get me to react. And I need to either A, find my way out of this situation before I do react, or cool my jets and detach from my emotions so that I don't do anything stupid. And for those who have ever, we've all been in relationships where we've said and done the stupid things as a reaction to having our buttons pushed or being the jilted lover, the scorned lover who is looking to push buttons. We know how this works. So it's been driving me nuts, guys. So I'm going to try to take a break this weekend. I'm going to try to do some social things here in Las Vegas, see some other people, have some laughs, certainly hit some beers, if not the hard stuff, the booze, and try to relax for a bit because I've been getting wound up this week with with hair gain. Anyway, so that's what I wanted to say about that. We'll get to about being positive here in a minute. So, as always, if you're watching this show from YouTube or Periscope, shoot me a comment. That's how I know that you guys are there, as I'm using the interface of Restream, and that's the only way that I know you guys are there. If you're watching an archive of this on YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Please, just give me a like. If you engage in our content, you hit the like button, well, that allows others to find the show. Nothing some bourbon or scotch can't cure, from Drew. Yes, Drew, you're absolutely 100% right. And I'll tell you, during COVID, much like all of us, I have found myself not drinking as much as I used to. So I drink a couple bourbon drinks. I'm going to be falling down the strip here in Vegas. I'll try to keep it a little bit lighter. I've lost my tolerance has gone to hell. My tolerance has gone to hell for the last couple of years as I've got more involved in running in the mornings, and I don't, in my older age, I don't nearly got as much as I used to. Hi to you, Lisa Chase over in YouTube. Thank you for joining. Hit the notification bell, subscribe if you haven't. So I wanted to show you guys that even discussing this stuff all week, I still get wrapped up in it, and I have to understand when it's time to withdraw. And I noticed the mood that everything put me in yesterday because I didn't even want to interact with friends who were reaching out, which I need to do. We all need to do. The socialization that we have all been missing out in during COVID has really taken its toll. And there are many things that we can do to treat ourselves, to get our dopamine receptors cruising, and hopefully in constructive and a positive way. But creating, writing, reading, watching a movie, those are all great. Those are all fantastic. But human to human, face-to-face interaction does more for the human spirit than anything else. Why do you think we create? We create as an opportunity to express ourselves to others. You can sit in the house and you can whittle and sculpt and paint and draw and write and play music all you want. And there is a creativity and a self-expression and a productivity that allows you to feel good. But the other half of all that creation is for other people to be able to see it, to connect to it, to relate to it. Even if they're critical of it, you have expressed yourself, and now there is a dialogue of something vulnerable, because anything that you create is going to be vulnerable because you've put time and effort into it. Tasto says, Liza Minnelli has called, she wants her haircut back. Well, too bad, Liza. So that creation, that vulnerability only comes through the self-expression of back and forth dialogue. With creativity, you're having a back and forth dialogue through your creativity, through your time and effort. Free Candy says, yes, this is another reason for me to do the variety show. You've talked to me about that. Absolutely. It's an opportunity for people to connect through the art of others and your own. Free Candy over in Austin has done some fan art of the show and is a wonderful artist. Ethereal Vixen over in YouTube asks, would it be selfish to want to be compensated for your creativity? Wonderful question. Well, let's talk about that. Wouldn't we all love to be compensated for our time and our efforts? Especially if our time and efforts brings joy to many people. No, not at all. It is not selfish in any aspect to want to be compensated for your time and effort. However, I will say this. For a lot of people who create, like Free Candy, for instance, over here in Insta, she draws pencil drawings, or is it charcoal? She does that because she has to do that. I am a musician. I've been playing in bands since I was a teenager. I'm now 46 years old. My career and how I am compensated is for doing the work that I'm doing right now. It is doing the Art of Charm podcast. It is through our coaching programs. I continue to play music because it is something that I have to do. I can't live life without creating. It is my creative outlet. It is the form of creativity which I like to express, that I prefer to express myself. And here's another one for you, Ethereal. No matter how much I create and perform and play music, and whether it's solo here in my apartment, guitar on my lap, playing music, or it is going into a dingy rehearsal studio with 5 other guys to bash out a bunch of noise to create a song from a concordic, chaotic noise and to craft it into a functional, structural verse, chorus, bridge, solo, chorus out, right? No matter how much time I spend doing that and who it's with, once those songs are crafted, once everything is structured, the want and need to do it in front of people, to put it in other people's hands in the form of a record so that they can enjoy what I have created is the ultimate goal. And if it is at that point that people want to pay for that record, want to pay for that performance, feel an obligation to support your efforts, well, by all means, there is nothing selfish about that. In fact, it's just goodwill. And I will give you another one. Since COVID, I have found so many new content creators online who have decided with all this extra time to figure out ways to express themselves to others, like I'm doing right now, this daily show at 8:30 a.m. every PST, Pacific time, every weekday morning. This is episode 99, by the way. Monday will be 100. So, and I hope you all join me for our 100th episode. It's going to be rad. Point being is the opportunity that I have to be able to support their creative efforts. For instance, I have a friend. Her name is Mona Santana, and you can find Mona Santana on Instagram. Every Saturday morning at 3, every Saturday afternoon at 3 p.m. Pacific, she go-go dances on Instagram. The playlist is made by her friends in underground bands all over the world. So they'll create an hour-long or a half an hour-long playlist for Mona to go-go dance to. Mona, being a professional go-go dancer, has found this way to continue to keep her dancing chops up, but also as an opportunity to create, to be able to stumble upon her weekend program and to purchase a shirt, send her a couple of tips for her vulnerability, putting herself out there, makes me happy. And finding and contributing and supporting other content creators, regardless of what I can afford, to shoot them a few extra dollars in their Patreon or their tip jar, or even to write them and say how much I enjoyed their work and I want to see them continue, goes a long way. I can tell you, when I first started this show, it took a few weeks in before people actually, or at least for me to understand that people started to actually look forward to me going live every morning. It was within 3 weeks in where I sat down after doing this show, and it was incredible. It was a bad show. The lighting was bad. I'm still working all this stuff out. And it was just one of those days I finished. I felt defeated, demoralized. I sat on the couch and I was like, does anyone even care? Is anyone even watching this? Am I connecting to anybody? And I got a message. And it was somebody mentioning how much they enjoyed the show and it makes their mornings. And it was a week after that Rack Coffee, R-A-K Coffee, Random Acts of Kindness Coffee, hit me up and they said, hey, it was Sean Berry from Random Acts of Coffee. He wrote me and said, I like your morning show. I want to send you some coffee. So I had my first sponsor for doing this little daytime thing. Do you know how incredibly good that made me feel that somebody took the time out to send me some coffee because they wanted to fuel this daytime insanity that is Coffee with Johnny? It made me feel amazing. Gratitude Fire Captain says, agreed. Gratitude goes a long way. Absolutely. And if you think about it this weekend, and I will say this, I will wrap this up with this point and exercise on Friday, rolling into Saturday. Rob Zav, good to see you, buddy. So here's my point. How about this? Let's do this. And I will do this, and I challenge you guys to do this. If this election cycle and this COVID garbage and the civil strife and insanity has you down at any point, use that as a cue to send some gratitude and appreciation to somebody who is doing their best at content creation. And if you want to have real impact in their lives and in what they're doing and support them in their endeavors, find small creators that are just doing it because they need to do it, because they want to do it, and shoot them a message. Shoot them appreciation, support, and encouragement. And take the focus off of your depression, your being tugged and pulled emotionally, your insanity for a moment, and create certainty out of uncertainty by delivering value to somebody who could really use it. That's what I'm going to do this weekend, and I suggest that you guys do it too. Fire Captain says, I can relate as a former struggling musician turned firefighter. Right on, buddy. Yeah, well, it's certainly in my DNA, playing music, and COVID has taken going to shows, going to rock concerts. I mean, that was my main form of socialization. To go out, get dressed up, go see some friends perform, have a shot and a beer with them. Like that was my social world. That's been taken from me. It sucks. Let's see. Klaus Fowler over in YouTube says, it's a war on for our attention until they know everything of us and can use it in algorithm control. 100%. And I'll tell you this, Klaus, they don't deserve our attention. And I've said this many times, they don't deserve it. And because they don't deserve it, I try not to engage with such content. It's impossible to completely drop out of it, as you want to be informed in a historical time, but at the same time, you don't want to get manipulated into their web of emotionally manipulative bullshit. So that's what I have to say about that. Wow, everyone's in the house today. Rob, Drew, Fire Captain Klaus. Well, I appreciate it. So Woody Belford over on Instagram, he pops in and says hello. Well, hello to you, Woody. I've been watching your videos as always. They are great. So guys, that is wrapping it up for me. That is the mission. That is the situation this weekend. If you feel yourself getting pulled emotionally, if you get a little bit down, find yourself being pissed off, look out and reach out to somebody who is trying to keep their sanity by creating, by producing something that they hope is of value to others. Because right now, that is all we have. It is our best way to socialize. It is our best way to entertain ourselves. And it is our best way to add value to our own internet and online silos, rather than complaining and bitching and allowing our own fears and insecurities to affect others. It's difficult. We all have friends that we can bitch to, but if you're going to have those conversations, try to at least end those conversations on a good note. It's like, let me bitch for 10 minutes. And now that I've bitched, now let's talk about what's positive. And I do the same thing on these morning shows. This morning I was typing in political agitation and depression. And I was like, I can't just title the show just that. So then I've added how to stay positive, or positivity on the other side of that. Because I'm not just going to come on here, act all defeatist, complain about everything, and then sign off. That certainly doesn't do me any good, and it certainly doesn't do you guys any good. And of course, I want you guys to join me here Monday for our 100th episode. And to do that, I need to leave feeling good, and you guys need to leave feeling good. So that's the story, that's the case, and that's where we're at. All right. So with that, I'm going to head out. If you guys enjoyed what I had to speak about today and you want to hear more, check out the Art of Charm's Communication Accelerator. It has all of our best bits from our live training programs, online training, and live expert guests over the last 15 years to supercharge your mindsets and skill sets to upgrade your life, business, love, and career. I will leave it at that. Drew says, feeling good. Yeah, we need more positive messages. Absolutely, Rob. Yes, Fire Captain says, let's give people positivity in their time of need. Absolutely. You know, and here's another one for you, Fire Captain and everyone else. Really, what would I be doing if I just came up here and complained and bitched about my problems every goddamn day? I mean, the reality is that I have more than I can hold of appreciation for where I'm at, what's going on, and everything that I get to be able to participate in and have a part of. And so with that positivity, I'm going to continue to do the best that I can to connect with all of you guys for all of our own sanity. So I appreciate you guys every day tuning in. I'm going to head out. If you feel free to hit me up. I'm the one you will be interfacing with on all of our social media. If you want to yap on Twitter, you know where to find me. I am at The Art of Charm. So I'll see you guys later. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you all Monday. Cheers. Thanks for the hearts, guys. Animal really appreciates that. Thank you, Free Candy I Try. Thank you very much. So are you. Thank you for tuning in.